I started off by centering the stencil on the canvas. Then I am applying modeling paste and then crackle paste over top. I found with crackle paste it's best to have a base of a glue or modeling paste so the crackle paste doesn't crack off. Here's the stencil. I applied the same technique on the corners with another stencil to fill in the four corners of the canvas. I used a cow skull mold, which was actually a decoration I got on clearance, but it was the perfect mold to use. And I used plaster of Paris strips to create the mold. Here I am putting modeling paste on top of the mold to adhere to the canvas, and then sealing it with the modeling paste. You want to make sure it's smooth, and I like to go over the mold with the modeling paste. I ended up changing this later down the road, but here I am applying the modeling paste and crackle paste, and I ended up filling that whole area in, and you don't really see the stencil. You'll see later. Here I'm applying flowers that I casted in resin, and I'm applying them with modeling paste as well. You want to make sure you have enough modeling paste on there to keep them on the canvas and place them where you want them to be. And then I also casted feathers to go on both sides of the flowers. And here I'm applying the feathers. I let this dry overnight. Now I'm painting black inside the crackle paste area to get in the recesses so it'll look more cracked. You want to get the black inside the cracks and then paint over top of that. Here I am applying a base coat over my flowers. This is just a rough base coat. With the 3D sculptural paintings, you want to get in all the cracks and crevices. So sometimes you won't even see this painting right here. It'll just be underneath. I used Elmer's glue as my flow medium for my flow paint, and this was a total experiment. I've never done a flow painting with 3D before, so this was quite challenging, and I actually had to go over a few of the parts again, which I don't show in the video, but I did have to fix up a few of the areas with the flow paint, because I also ended up going over the cow skull with a resin clay, which I will show you. For my flow painting, I used coconut oil hair serum to get cells. I put it in 2 of the colors. I used a funnel to control where the paint was going. It was the best way to get some control over where the paint would be going around my design. Now I'm painting white over my stencil design in the corners, and I'll do that in all 4 of the corners. And I will continue painting white over where all of the stenciled area is, and I will also paint over top of the crackle paste area with white. Now I am applying a resin clay over top of my cow skull to give it more character, and I wanted to make it cracked, So this was kind of a mistake I made because I really should have done this before I did the flow painting, but I sort of rethought my design, and then I had to end up going back over my flow painting to fix some areas of it after this. But I ended up really liking the result, and here I am just carving into the resin clay to give it a cracked effect. So after that, I ended up filling in the whole stencil with crackle paste because it just didn't look right with how it was with the stencil coming through. So I ended up filling that in, and I let that dry overnight, and also the resin clay dried overnight, and I painted the entire head black to get into the cracks of the piece, to make the cracks stand out on the skull. And here I am painting the flowers with the color that I wanted to use for those. Now I'm painting the skull white, and that will really make the cracks show up, as you'll see. So just be careful not to get into the cracks and mess up what you did already with getting the black in there. Here I'm adding some burnt sienna, burnt umber, and white to give some more dimension to the cow skull. And I'm painting the feathers with burnt sienna and white. Now I'm just painting the horns with a gray. I went back over the skull with white again to highlight some of the areas. Now I'm adding an antiquing wax over top after it has dried to blend in the elements of the painting and also to give it a weathered and antiqued look. I also ended up outlining the stencil area with some black paint.